Get started. Thank you for joining. This is Daryl Price with D3 Technologies, and today I'm joined by Jordan Jolly, who is actually with CTech, our partner in the presentation, and he'll be diving into the content today. And as we jump into this, again, with the topic today and in the platform that D3 brings to the table to solve workflow solutions or challenges, today we're going to be focusing still on the master data. If you have been with us on the other sessions, the first one we spoke of and dived into document management. Last week we were talking about workflow and collaboration, and I'm excited to have Jordan here today talking about the BI tool that's buried in the CTech platform. So we'll be talking about business intelligence, and that really is leading towards that digital transformation. It's about collecting and amassing the data so that you can make predictive decisions that are based on good data. And then if you are able to join us next week, we'll be wrapping up with accounting and integrated solutions. So there again, having a tool that's built inside the platform instead of having to work with an external tool. So we'll be covering the benefits of that. As we think about those workflows, we think about the day in the life of, as you go through your challenges, it's about cleaning that mess up and having an organized approach to the data that is managing and running your company. And if you have been with us on the previous sessions, you already know that it's a very robust platform that CTech offers. It's targeted at manufacturing. It's a modern SaaS application and 100% web native. So as we jump into the content today, Jordan, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, and we're looking forward to it.
All right, wonderful.
Sharing, and you should be
attempting to share my screen currently.
And I am seeing it.
Wonderful. Okay, all right, thank you, Joe. Okay, business intelligence. So the CTech ERP platform is built on underpinning software, Linux, Apache, MySQL, Perl, Python, PHP, and obviously a web language. The same is to be said for the business intelligence platform. There's another open source structure kind of underneath this called Metabase. So today you'll be seeing, this M, that's kind of the tool that this is built on. And that's somewhat philosophically aligned with how we operate as a company. That's one of the reasons why the tool is so low cost. It is a SaaS platform. It's radically less expensive than most business intelligence platforms on the market today. So understanding what this is, most small businesses rely on Excel first and foremost, and canned reports. And indeed, in CTech, you have several hundred canned reports that you can search on. For instance, this is a canned report of all invoices and sales history. So CTech BI, basically what happens is you take all of the data from your core data warehouse here, and it translates it, flattens out the data in an overnight process. The process is called ETL, or Exchange Transform Load. And it flattens it out into basically a reporting playground to give you, instead of being encumbered by the filtering settings and the grouping settings of the canned reports, it basically gives you the power to visualize and play with your data. So ultimately, that's a multiplier on management time and insight. You guys can feel free to go to metabase.com and read about what this tool does for companies all over the world. Ask questions and learn from data, explore on your own, see connections. It's a really kind of up and coming and modern business intelligence tool. And so we have leveraged that, and this is what everybody does with Metabase. They use it, they leverage that, and we apply it to, we've tied it to the CTech ERP data set here. So what we're going to do today to understand how this works is we're going to take an example of one of these canned reports that I've mentioned, Specifically, we're going to look at the invoice list, and then we're going to look at what having the raw invoice data translated over into this flattened business intelligence structure, what types of possibilities that opens up for you to do. So we're going to actually walk through an example, and I'm going to create a custom report from scratch using the business intelligence tool in D3 ERP. So here we are, we have the invoice list, and this is just a list of customer invoices. You can see it's row by row, invoice number by invoice number, and it's listing out all of your sales, all of your shipments, which is great. That's good data. But what if I wanted to summarize all of the dollar amounts here, and for instance, see all of these invoices that I ship product to a customer called products and more, this invoice, this invoice, this invoice. What if I wanted to consolidate those and view the total dollar amount of sales, one customer by customer, row by row? And then furthermore, what if I wanted to break those out, month to month? I see July, August, September, October. What if I wanted to summarize those month by month? That's not something that I really have the ability to do here in this canned report. I'd have to export to Excel. So business intelligence gives you the ability to do that type of thing. So I'm going to move over to the demo version of D3 ERP's Metabase here. And it's saying, hello, Jordan, and it's giving me a look at my data. So I'm going to go to the demo data set here. And this is just showing me all of the tables that have been moved over and translated to the business intelligence environment. I've got my AP data, my AR, customers. I'm going to look at invoice lines. So I'm going to drill down into the raw data there. And already I'm seeing, okay, I've got the raw data. I can move things around. Already you're seeing tons of more flexibility on what you can actually do. I've got all the columns that I can move their positions around. So I can say, I'd like to add an additional column here. I'd like to move that invoice number right up to the very front. So I can decide which columns, whereas in canned reporting, you just kind of have the columns left to right. That's what you get. With CTech BI, you get to see, which columns you're actually using. So now I have that invoice number there. So this is the raw data. I'm playing with the raw data. Like I said, what if you wanted to regroup that? You could. I could say I would like to summarize this data differently. So I'm going to click on the green summarize button here. I'd like to summarize by kind of hone in on that extended resale. So we're going to say the sum of extended resale because I'm trying to do a sales report. So I see, whoa, there's a total $1,143,000 of sales resale. What if I wanted to group this by customer? I could go find the related object, which is the customer here. So I'd like to group that by their name. So I'll click that. All of a sudden, I'm seeing suggestions from the business intelligence platform. Okay, here are other ways that you could look at the data. How about we group it out by customer and give you a sum of the extended resale, nice little bar chart. You can change that visualization if you want. So click done. And then, like I said before, what if I wanted to break this out? What if I wanted to add a secondary grouping of breaking out this data month by month? I'm going to click Show Editor there. I'll get even more abilities to kind of play with this data. So I've got grouping by customer. I'm going to add a secondary grouping to group by date. And this is going to be the promise date, or the date that I've shipped it. And I'm going to group by month. Of course, I could do that by day or by year. I'm going to do it by month. And let's visualize again. And maybe this is the way I want to visualize the data. Maybe it isn't. I would prefer to go to a tabular form. So I'm going to change the visualization here. And now look what I have. I have customers broken out by month. Now, what if I wanted to pivot on a different column? What if instead of row by row viewing months, what if I wanted those in columns? Well, I could change the pivot column to be promise date. We're done. And now I have this really beautiful KPI, whereas before I had kind of raw data, just a listing of all invoices. Now I've turned that data around, played with it, and I've got a new way of analyzing this data. I'm seeing my top customers and their total amounts of sales broken out by month. What a great report that is. So hopefully that demonstrates just the type of power. And this is just one little possible way that you could imagine taking your sales or your shipment data, your invoices, and viewing it in a slightly different way that's potentially useful. But of course, the ways and the permutations that you could look at that data are infinite. So I use that as an example to demonstrate just how having this data, your core ERP data warehouse, that centralized data translated into a business intelligence tool, gives you the power to be able to do these types of analytics. So then you have other tools. Let's say I got this just how I wanted it. You can do relative dates. You could say, hey, just run this report for anything before today, so it's always up to date. You can save things and add them to dashboards. So I could say, this is my favorite customer sales report. Add that question. I could even add it to a dashboard if I wanted. So if I click save, it's going to ask me, would you like to add this to a dashboard? I can say, yes, please. So, well, I'd like to add it to my executive pulse report dashboard. Start building that out. You even have a dashboard editor where you can size and resize and change the placement of the various KPIs that you end up developing. If you get the business intelligence platform, you do get preloaded. So you can see I've preloaded some other KPIs that people have worked up. These will come kind of included in your business intelligence. Getting to build out your own effectively. And you can do other things, like you can go in and get kind of suggestions. You could say, I'd like to ask another question of different data. You could go back to, I'm going to show you guys something. It's giving you x-rays, so this little lightning bolt. You'd say, well, what are things that I could know about my customers? I click that lightning bolt and it runs, well, you got 24 total, runs a bunch of different KPIs and metrics and various ways of looking at the data. You can drill down into them. You can report on the raw data. You can do things like set pulses. So you could say, I'd like to ask a question here. It says new pulse. Say important sales alert. So let's say one of those reports or those KPIs that you want your sales manager looking at every morning. Well, you could select which question that is that you've developed. You can say, well, where should that report go? Well, I want it to email it to Joe or to Jordan at ctechERP.com and go out daily at 8 a.m. in the morning. I want to share that out on my Slack channel and so on. And then that person will get an email every morning. That report's coming in up to date. It will even let you do native SQL queries as well. So if you have any true data people in your business, they'll be very happy with that. So yeah, that's a demo of the business intelligence platform. I hope it's helpful for you guys.
Very nice, Jordan. Thank you for today. And again, tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but next week, we'll be getting into the accounting module. So look forward to having you join us then. And again, as a reminder, at the conclusion of the series, we will be wrapping these up and sending everybody links to all 4 of the series sessions. So again, look forward to having you join us next week. And thank you for joining us, Jordan.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.